Okay. Welcome back to 20-Sided Tales, episode 78, The Hunted May Cry. Where last we left our heroes, the Scarlet Vanguard had arrived in the capital of Luxembourg, a historic city of heraldry called Baldrick's Watch, and within these medieval walls and cobbles our heroes sought justice. Once again, the nefarious black market and their overlords of the underworld had brought plight to the lives of our heroes. Moreover, they affected the lives of those closest to them. Although the Scarlet Vanguard was pressed to defensive action in the name of Pippa Penny, the former troop leader of Agnesia's Howling Imaginarium in which she was raised. By some means, not only were the triplets tainted by the dark magics bestowed to them by the black market, but so too would Pippa be held responsible. That is, unless our heroes can clear her name in these charges and find the real culprits. Although the window for justice is brief, it has been extended so by Lord Hammond, and our heroes await the proceedings to be held at the halls of egalitarianism. However, there's time yet before these trials would commence, and perhaps, in this time given, the Scarlet Vanguard could dig deeper before that day comes to pass. As the first night waned on and a new day broke, our group set out to take care of business locally. Locally, they spoke to traders, nobles, and doctorates alike, as they gathered information and made social ties. Eventually, as the day progressed, our group would come back together, and we would find that one among them, Adlin, was in an aloof state induced by his recently prescribed medicine, capsulized psilocybin mushrooms. And in this haze, he took with the others further into the merry shingled rows of the city, until the sound of bustling was replaced with the gibbering of an anxious mob. They were awaiting an execution at the gallows, and among those poor unfortunate souls to be doled punishment, two were children, boys no older than 10. And this was cause enough for the heroes to step in forthright and make a claim against the supposed justice. And it was Sana foremost who had taken to the affair. Immediately, she pushed to the front of the crowd, and before long, her wings had been spread as she soared above the masses to publicly and personally address Duke Gunther Schultz himself. Despite her driven words, the Duke was callous and unwavering, and she too would be placed up for prosecution. That is, until voices from the crowd called for another opinion. Lord Hammond, who was in the city but had not been at this event, due to preparing for an annual royal hunt. In the tense social interactions to follow, another lady of the realm stepped forward and took to representing Sana. This lady was none other than the Baroness Brunhilde, Dean of the Waterford University of Arts, and a former acquaintance to our heroes, and one who was privy to the ideals of the greater good. Then he arrived, valiantly, an entourage in company. The Lord Hammond strode to meet the parting masses and speak out to his old friend the Duke in front of the public here. To the shock of all in attendance, it was Hammond who acted upon the Duke's own imposed martial laws to incite the Duke unfit to rule, and so a supreme senate would now be held in the days ahead of them. Henceforth, the children were absconded as well from their punishment, and Sana was released to the custody of Baroness Brunhilde, who had taken her on as a charge. However, the rest of the executions would commence. Alikos, now viewing from a private booth alongside his lord, while the others made off to a humble cafe with the Baroness. As the two viewed, they discussed politics in life, but Hammond was swayed to save business for another time, and conjectured that Alikos would join him on a royal hunting trip come the new dawn. Of course, he was accepted in this. As not far away now, the others and Brunhilde discussed the pressing matter of the black market and the growing corruptions of this realm. Our heroes saw this on this day that the heralds of the city in the political scape can be just as gritty as the wilderness they face around them. But in the end, they all met back up on the eastern beaches of the city to frolic out the remainder of the dusk with some of Agnesia's old troupe, Lorelei and company. When the final minutes ticked away, our heroes eventually found themselves safely back in the beds of their rented abode at the Smokers' Club. But this night would not be so restful for some. Where Alikos would find quick shut-eye and prep for his trip, Agnesia, his love, in the other room would begin to confide in Lorelei, who had already been waiting for her in the room like a James Bond villain, pivoting to meet her from a chair in the corner. Intimate words were spoken, and for the first time, Agnesia called Lorelei Mom, who reciprocated her as a daughter, but made the notion perhaps Mom wasn't the right word given her current insights into Agnesia. We ended with Lorelei embracing her daughter as she pulled the wine bottle away. And come the pitter-patter of rain on the windows, the day of the hunt was upon Alikos, as we saw him set out to meet Hammond at the city's eastern gates. The rain runs down his face, just as the tears had been running down Agnesia's last night. But as we see him proper, the camera panning to meet his face through the haze of an effervescent morning deluge, a smile comes across it as Hammond is there ahead with a pair of steeds in waiting. The two of them then making a hard stride off south with the river as their guide and the city covered by mist to their backs. And with that, take us away, Alikos, and describe yourself as we see you in a mountain stride, mud splashing and stallions thrashing.
All right, as no longer wearing the fine suit that he had made up in Bevel Bay. No, this time the jacket that's long been torn has been left behind in his bag in the room, as he's now just wearing the nice tunic underneath with the dress pants and the his original hiking boots that go all the way up to his mid calf. He's riding along, his hair not in a ponytail anymore, is blowing behind him. His beard kind of still has a few charms in it this time. Continues continues rushing in the reins and riding alongside the Lord.
Ride strong, friend! We move against the rains and the winds on the ancient path that the Emperor first rode. There are marvels ahead of us, my friend.
It'd be a lot better when the sun comes out, I bet.
Nothing like the storm to harbinge a soul to a nature fitting of the hunt. Let it fill you. And he just takes off even harder. His pale steed that he strides upon gallops tremendously and gathers mud in its wake as you make do to follow on the stallion that was given to you. Your horse, her name, Helen, you were told during this ride. And we see the two of you sort of in a montage way continue on. The city, before long, is totally lost in a shroud of mists. But you have the constant of the wide river to your left, to the east, as you're traveling south, working your way up these muddy, twisting paths, often enough rocky, and within an hour or so of a hard ride, the two of you break through the deluge to make out one of the farthest sanctums of society before beginning your trip proper. A small hunter's hovel, a collection of homes and abodes. And there, waiting for you, Hammond has a few more of the adventuring party. A few more canines. You meet up with his dog trainer as the two of you come to a stop. You're already dirty at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the hounds. Ah, yes, they're ready, my lord. Ready as ever. Good, good. Fetch them then. You're right on time, as usual. Will do. Who's this then? He looks to you, Alikos.
Aliko Sideri. A pleasure.
The pleasure is mine, my lord. Pleasure is mine. Any company of Hammonds is fair folk to have around indeed. Now let me go off get Alpha and Megara. Yes, my good man. And here, take this for your troubles. Very swell of you. Very generous. As Lord Hammond tosses a coin pouch down to his dog trainer. Before long, the darker of the hunting dogs, Megara, Meg is brought out, as well as the lighter and more docile of the two, Alfie or Alf. With the click of his tongue, Hammond seems to have some immediate sway over these creatures who heal. And though being beasts and of a limited intelligence, you can, within a moment of meeting them, pick up on the personality of these dogs. The darker one, Megara, she's kind of chomping at the bit, just waiting for the hunt, whereas Alfie is patient, slower, more thoughtful, perhaps. Hammond takes his leave of the man, and the two of you begin heading towards the back of this little hunter's hollow where they have a picketed palisade, sealed and gated off, which opens up to some royal paths and hunting grounds that the public do not travel. These trees cannot be cut, it is explained to you. These animals cannot be poached. And it is a noble right to pass through this threshold. And so you do as those palisades open. Fair hunt to you nobles! Hip hip hooray! There's a few cheers for you as the two of you make your gallant mounted stride off. Pick one of the hounds, my friend. They will be as your squire.
Well, let's see here.
You may have first pick of the litter.
Well, thank you, my lord. As he'll kind of think to himself as he kind of closes his eyes for a moment and focuses on the shield on his back as he quietly casts a spell. Well, Maggie, she's the more docile one, more calm, rational. Antithesis of myself. Isn't that right? Kind of looks over to the small white dog. Or is it Alfie?
I suppose. But even churning waters can meet still bends before the fall. Speaking of which, there's a waterfall far ahead of us. Two great statues gaze over it and towards each other. The first emperor, a golden dragon from the lost age. The meadows where we go was once this dragon's domain.
Really? And
Indeed.
this dragon was the emperor?
Some say, who's to know? Perhaps an ally. Regardless, both found allegiance in the Arch Magi and Barum.
Whatever happened to this dragon?
Asleep, perhaps. Some of the greater deities, as they claim, or perhaps slain. Or perhaps it was just a figment, a symbol. In the end, does it really matter? We are but two men on a trip. Speaking of which, that nip in the air. Why don't we break open some of the wine? It seems like a merry enough place to stop.
If you insist, my lord. Who
There
am
are a
I
few
to
more
deny?
miles. Give the horses a break. The two of you dismount underneath some trees, and already in the 10 minutes you've been moving, even that hunter's hollow is far lost behind you. No sign of society or lights, just the teeming woodland and the vast river to the east of you. As you coerce Sharon wine and salted pork, he tells you, "What do you know of this river?"
This one here?
Yes.
Not so much, I'm afraid. Does he DM? I mean, he's never been in this
One
land.
one
This
of the
area's been.
one of the largest inlets
Oh, sorry.
into this mainland. One of the widest as well. You haven't wondered how we're crossing it, have you? I suppose you're from more distant lands.
Well, I've learned never to question you. You always seem to have a plan.
I suppose.
Well, kind of looks between the horses and the dogs. I'm guessing you'd have us swim across. I presume knowing you, the dogs and can the horses swim? Hmm. Kind of looks back to the Lord. Or maybe yet, perhaps you even know your knowledge of this land is vast. Maybe you know a place where the river is not so deep. One is able to cross on horseback. Wrong
Taps the
voice.
side of his nose. But I will not tell you in full, my friend, for it is a glorious surprise, one I would not deprive of you. There's a reason that this is a royal path we take. The sights ahead of us to behold can change a man.
My lord, I have no doubt about the grandeur of this place, but I've seen a lot that have already changed me. I'm,
Exactly, these are just but stark words. Who hath the power to change a man who is always changing? Is it not in our nature?
ah, fair ye, fair ye. Where did you get this wine from, my lord?
Hmm. Well, first, a toast
To whom?
to better days.
To better days.
And clink as we
Yep.
hear the glasses clink. The camera sort of zooms in on that and gets lost, like going into one of the cups, into the sloshing of the wine. And as we come back out, our perspective is inside of a wine bottle, but in a different location. We start to pan out from the bedroom, back in the Smokers Club, where we see Agnesia hours before, and but moments after, as Lorelai is pulling her hand away from her embrace upon Ignicia and also placing that bottle of wine on the table behind her. Darling,
What? The line, Lorelai. What's going on?
don't be coy with me.
No, I've actually been working on honesty. Not being coy, Lorelai. How come you get to drink and I don't? Is that wine too expensive for little old me then?
Well, yes, I know.
But
It's
you're
just a
being
hunch.
weird.
Well, it's just a hunch. But how friendly have your trips been of late? No, that's maybe not the way I want to put it. How rough were you with him? You left scars? Like burn marks? No, that's not right either.
Come on, what
Maybe
are
we
you
do
asking
drink.
me?
Maybe I'm just. She looks you up and down. But I think we best be sure.
Okay, hold on. No, you're dancing around something that doesn't need to be danced around, Lorelai. I burn him? No, I didn't burn anybody. I mean, who didn't need to get burned? But, a lot of my magic is fire based.
Oh, I know things were getting hot and heavy between the two of you. I saw the
Okay,
swooning in Bevel Bay.
okay, this is about Alikos then. Okay.
I saw the hickeys on his neck, or singe marks.
I told him to cover those up.
You're working on honesty? Come, girl.
I am working on
Something.
honesty, actually. I'll have you know that I am not disguised right
I
now.
know you are, and that's the weird thing. I think you're a bundle of emotions. Just
Lorelai,
beginning to
I'm
brew.
really fucking going through it right now. I don't know if you've noticed. My entire world seems to be crumbling around me, but I've got to keep smiling because that's my fucking job. So, yeah, I'm a bundle of emotions.
And that's why I'm trying to step lightly with you right now. I think tomorrow we should find a diviner, maybe, or I'm not sure who would know these sort of things.
Well, I speak frankly, for once in your life, please. Just speak.
I think you've got a bun in the broiler.
No, I don't. What the fuck? You know, Lorelai, I came here to be honest with you, and I really thought we were having a moment.
I am being
I
honest.
was okay. I thought, I came
Okay,
in here.
look at this bowl of fruit.
I cried to your fucking face just now. I let my whole shit down.
I've never
You
seen you
know that
cry
I
like
fucking
that in
hate
my
doing it. Yeah, I
entire
know.
life.
Yeah,
You have been through
I learned
so
from
much.
you. I learned from you. I lock that shit up in a corner and ignore it. I know.
What are you, a volcano after all these years? Now you're starting to erupt? I
Maybe.
mean, I hate to say it, but you're
I'm
looking a
having a
little bit
nice
plumper than usual. Not much, but
look.
look at this bowl of fruits here.
You calling me fat now?
No, but healthy.
Oh, jeez. Ah,
And
Lorelai,
she pulls up this bowl of fruit, and within it there's these different sized fruits. She starts rummaging through them and
you're
like
gonna make
holding them up to your stomach.
a
We need
fruit
to figure out how
analogy.
far along you are.
I'm not pregnant. What are you talking about?
Well,
Are you? Why are you doing this? We were having a nice fucking conversation. For once in our life, we were honest, and now you're doing this? Really? Lorelai?
are you going to tell me that I don't know you?
You know me. Of course you do. A doctor? When did you go to medical school? That one
I
of your
haven't, but
secret things you never told me about?
I've been in predicaments before.
Look me in the eyes and tell me you're not fucking with me right now.
She takes your hands. I'm sorry, the whole motherly thing, it's not who I am. No, I'm telling the truth. But as soon as I started taking care of you, took you under my wing, whatever, we bonded. We, you picked up on my tricks of the trade, and I learned from you, and connected with you. And I'm telling you, baby girl, right now, I can see when I look in your eyes, there's something stirring, another source to these emotions, and I know the two of you have been together for a while, and these things are natural. Just to be certain, I have a hunch. I get hunches. I sometimes act too strongly on them, speak my mind. Well, that's what people either hate or love about me. But I always stand behind my words, even the lies. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about a lot of things. But I think you're gonna now be given the chance to teach someone how to be a little fire starter. Well, let's teach and stoke the innate flame that's already there. It brushes the hair from the side of your face, flaming hair.
This is the world's worst timing.
Oh, the
It's
world.
true. I'm not gonna agree to it until we talk to some sort of diviner. You're right. I'm not. Oh, this is bad timing.
I don't even think you're at olive yet, alright? And she like takes an olive and pops it in her mouth. These are really good.
Don't call the. Oh, first of all, there's no baby, but if there was a baby, don't compare it to an olive and then put it in your mouth. He's.
I love olives. One of the few joys in my life. So what do we do?
I don't fucking know.
What do we do about him? What's the score? Come on, let's talk to Skinny. I don't even know all the details yet. How do the two of you even get together? And I literally want details. Everything.
Oh,
Go ahead. So, from the moment you met, all the dirty secrets of the whole group, I will only use it to blackmail them if they deserve it.
I
Promise.
know. Okay. We weren't even supposed to be a group. We just got hired by a merchant to his little Vanguard. And we stuck together. I fucking hated him. Wasn't even Alikos then. His fucking guts. I shot him once. Pissed me off.
Oh,
Now we're here.
well, why? I must know. I won't lie.
What?
I shot Lord Hammond once as well.
Oh god, I really am you, aren't I? Tried so hard not to become you and I fucking became you, didn't I?
Hmm. At least I'm doing alright.
What do you mean, why? What do you mean, why? That was your question,
Why?
right?
Yes, why'd you shoot him?
Oh. Tried to kill a bear trapped in a bear trap in a country where it was illegal to kill bears, and I told him to quit it. Want to
Oh,
get me
and
my ass. I get my
as
ass
you
arrested.
begin as you now begin to like go into the story, the camera's like kind of been slowly spinning around, but kind of widens the angle, goes a bit quicker, and goes out the window and lost into one of the raindrops. You can see the muffled sounds of the conversation continuing over the rumbling of the rain as it picked up later that night. And we're actually going to cut back to now Alikos now on the talk of him and bears. As you and Lord Hammond have finished up your little break and are about to continue onward. How are you doing anything along the way in specific, or anything you want to say to him? Or...
He's mostly taking in like the beautiful scenery around him, like a lot of these statues, and imagine some of these like these old knurl trees that have been here for probably since the beginning of this entire country. But before then, but he'll take a moment. And say, my lord, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think's going to happen if the Duke is replaced? Do you have any type of replacement in mind?
No idea. Maybe they'll send someone from Bastion in the Empire. temporary senate, theological prelate, perhaps. Whoever it is, it'll be someone who has ideals for the people.
Perhaps that'd be for the better. That's... But, my lord, what about you?
What about me?
When all this is said and done, where are you going to be going?
I always wanted to have offspring, but I've never quite fully satiated myself with my own purpose. It's on trips like these that I can truly be one with the world around me and ruminate.
Do you have someone back at the estate waiting for you? Or
There's been lovers, yes,
I
but I'm a
believe,
busy man,
and I've
and
met one
though
of them.
I would have cast my heart to any one of them, willingly and with glee, but I know far too well that my cause, my purpose, would always hold me back, and it would not be fair,
Your cause,
at
sir?
least for now. Yes, I owe a debt to the people of this land, aye, to the people of all the world,
A debt of
as
what,
we
my
all
lord?
do. We all have binds in blood, my friend.
I'm not sure you could still owe such a debt, my lord. You're a hero to this land. Your name is praised on every street of every city.
And those blessed to be heroes, so too are they cursed, with great and glorious purpose to fulfill. Or so they are told by many a prophet, a prelate, or sycophant. But in the end, it is up to those what some would call dunatati to make their own way.
I'm
An
so
esoteric term for people of great importance, but it was made revelation that all in truth are of this lineage. Some just take to it more than others. We have gifts, we are meant to use them. Idle hands become the devil's.
my lord, I hear your words well and true, but I'm certain the people would love to hear that Lord Hammond had some descendants. I'm certain your
Not
bloodline
yet.
would probably.
I'm afraid I'm the last of my line.
Oh, my lord?
My father would be turning in his grave.
The last of your line, my lord?
Yes, indeed, I inherited all of the wealth of House Hazelworth, all of its duty and burden.
My lord, if you don't mind me asking, kind of still trotting with the horses. Whatever happened to the rest of your kin? If you, forgive me for intruding, my lord.
Stops as he's about to crest over a hill. Doesn't look at you and he says as the rain beats on his face. Much like Duke Gunter, I understand the pains of life that can bode death. Not unlike his daughters, my mother was lost in my bearing. A common enough occurrence of which I was born was enough that my mother would not survive. But my father was a strong man, and the Haysworth house had been through much throughout the eras of time. He raised me to his ideals, to be lofty, and to not be harrowed by such loss I was bore unto. He lived a fine life until he did no longer. That is all I will say of my father, for now he is gone, and only the rain conceals the tears which fester at my eye. In truth, I am not the man I was when I had lost him. Much time has passed. Despite my youthful appearance, my aristocratic lifestyle has provided me such. And no shortage of healthy exercise. So, shall we?
Yes, my lord. Right behind
Let's
you.
dismount over this hill. Not much further up ahead of us, you can see the mighty river, swollen as it may be. Watch and behold, as we shall pass, my friend. Let's make our march. My foot. He dismounts.
Yep.
Looks
Follows
at you with a
suit.
smile.
Yeah, he gives him a smile too, but as he begins moving forward, he kind of looks at him. His eyes soften as he just feels a lot of concern and almost this love. As he's like, God, Lord Hammond, he's probably been through so much, having so much hope, so much, the entire probably country kind of hyping him up, and he's still just a man.
And we see the two of you go. He leads you on, and he leads his pale steed down the muddy banks, and you can hear this river, which is miles wide, churning and raging, thick and rapid as it is. But after about 30 minutes and you've come upon its beaches, you can feel the mist splashing and spraying up against you. He's got a yell to even speak to you beside him. Look now on the coast, for you will witness one of the miracles of this world. Any great path or river can diverge. Witness now a miracle seen by few men throughout the ages. And as he says that, the water, as it's churning and blasting about, begins to just part in front of your fucking eyes.
Holy crap.
Literally, like Moses and the sea, begins to part. It just begins to shallow out to either direction. It goes, behold, as the mighty river diverges once per year to many, many paths. Witness as one path can become infinite. But once enough time passes, they shall too convene again. But it is said one day a great drought will take them, and any will pass this river freely. But this day, this rainy day, this river is ours to pass. As the waters split and the gods open its curtain, its very legs for us to penetrate. Come, let us be as true men on this great hunt as the royals before us. Go now, take the first steps as the waters pass. This is an event to witness. It's a miracle. You're watching a river part in front of your eyes. A river that's more than 30 feet deep, several miles wide, just parting ahead of you as it's spilling. It's essentially, at this time of summer, it always floods and becomes many, many other different rivers earlier up the banks, and it causes this part of it to just spill out to either direction for a time.
As he begins taking the first few steps, kind of looks over his shoulder at Lord Hammond, who just parted this giant effing river. Like, holy hell, who is this man? As he continues forward, almost in a state of disbelief, like, what the hell just happened?
Take in the glory and the majesty of the world, my friend. It is above any man or any god which created it. Know that anything is possible.
It's kind of...
And you, like this river, my friend, can diverge from your path. And will you come to meet yourself again at the end? Who's to say?
Gets to the...
Who's to say? He yells out, and you can see fish kind of swimming alongside of you in the river that's steadily parting either way. And it's supernatural, it's a miracle, but it's all sort of scientific what you're witnessing as well. It's not like big water walls, it's
Oh,
just
okay.
spilling out the separate directions sort of thing, right?
I was imagining the
Um,
giant water walls.
at first it becomes
Okay.
this overswelling curtain of two water walls, and then just parts separate directions, flooding different directions. You continue on through here,
Yeah.
witnessing this
Oh.
miracle, and it takes you a while, over an hour, to get to the other side, depending on the pace you're going. What pace do you go at?
It'd probably be just at a walking pace, just like kind of taking it slow, look, taking in the sights around him, and going, Lord, like, Lord, did you just part this entire river
It's
without a
not
word?
me. No, my friend. This is an annual event. This river named after one of the moons. When the world comes to a certain point in time, floods and spills before where we make our pass, and comes to the falls beyond it. And in this one location, which the first emperor walked, passage the Memorial Meadow. We should not tarry too long, though, for we will only have this day. We must make our return on the morrow.
Perhaps we should make haste to the other side then.
Yes, let's not tarry.
Yeah. Come here, Helen. Yeah, look.
Yeah,
Perhaps
you
we
and
go by
Helen
horse, yeah?
and the hunting dogs and Hammond all just make your way off the camera, just sort of slow pans up and out into the haze of the later morning now, and through the murk of that clouds, we come through them as they part, and once again we see the great capital city of Baldrick's Watch. We dive into its rainy streets, even too filled with haze, and we're looking upon the smokers' lounge, kind of coming into the cracks of the building, and seeing the rest of our cast the next day as they've come to rise and meet one another. Sorry for that wait, the rest of you. Um, so we'll open up with Adlin, Agnesia, Sana, Lorelai, and company. Everyone just kind of reined in here at the Smokers Club, settled around a breakfast table. Agnesia longingly looking out to the rainy streets, willing the rains to maybe
Very,
subside, and thinking about her lover
a
before
very
she turns
distant look
back
on
to
her
the table.
face.
Mhm. Before you turn back to the table, and from your point of view, your perspective, we see Sana and Adlin. If you would, describe your characters. Kick us off here.
Sauna.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right, Sauna, with her navy blue hood pulled down, her platinum blonde hair spills out, shaven on one side, I always forget to describe. She has bright blue eyes of just like a solid color swirling with light, a scar over her nose, and she wears clothing of a nice powdery green with a white sash kind of over one shoulder. She's got one hand underneath her chin, leaning forward, looking at Adlin as she asks, "So, what? He removed your arm?"
Oh, yeah. Long story short.
Huh.
Wasn't his fault, though.
What does she see as I look at you?
Oh, yeah, no, just right now, he's been looking more and more tired. This short halfling with this light brown hair and just a jacked up face at this point, really. He's had a rough time of it. He still isn't wearing his prosthetic arm, so right now he's went and actually went and sewn up that sleeve just so that it isn't just sitting there hanging or anything, and actually making a point to wear his cloak even inside, just to kind of keep people from being uncomfortable about it. And yeah, his armor's been just damaged. very damaged. Except he isn't wearing that right now. It's just a loose bit of clothing right now. That's just this gray shirt that seems to come down into some brown pants. Though he does still keep a sword hilt that's just hanging from the side. No blade on it. But yeah, he's just kind of sitting there with that, and the only other thing is he has went and taken the whistle and tied it off with a bit of leather back onto his neck where he used to keep it.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it wasn't his fault at all.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we could find someone to make you a new one that won't result in the necrosis, whatever effect was happening from it.
Well, I'm not that worried about it right now.
Hmm.
Later on, whenever we get a chance, I'm sure Circle of the Horn has people who are more proficient in that.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. So won't even worry about it really till then. From what the doctor said the other day, nothing's gonna kill me immediately. So we're doing good.
Good.
Sorry to eavesdrop, but speaking of doctors, Agnesia, I've got this terrible kink in my back. Would you walk me there, please?
Oh, be careful if he gives you any medicine.
Oh, yeah. Recommend me to that doctor. Where was he?
And I'll give directions and just be like, yeah, no, whatever he gave me the other day, it just had me fucking out of it.
Yeah, I'll take 2. All right, we'll be back.
Are you sure
Agnes.
I'm licensed to help with such a thing?
And I'm licensed to kill in some provinces. She winks at you.
Right.
Agni, why don't we go
She wants
do
the
the thing
wants the
I just said?
psilocybin. We're gonna go do the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
She kind of links arms with you and begins whispering in your ear at the door as you leave. Adlin, with your passive insight, like
Oh
clearly maybe
yeah,
planning or something, or like they're not going to the doctor.
yeah. But he isn't gonna push it.
2 trained liars couldn't get past 1 halfling? No, his passive insight's just that high.
Didn't even bother hiding it.
Adlin's got god tier insight, so
Is it 21 as well?
My passive, yeah.
Adlin and Sana,
king shit
the
right
two
there.
of you,
God.
the two of you make plans for your day as well, and the camera just kind of lazily listens to you, starts to get muffled out as it once again drifts towards the rainy windows. A pitter-patter splash in our vision, obscuring it, and then kind of fading away. Windshield wipers noise. And we see Alikos wiping the rain from his face, from his eyes. You've made it to the other side of the river, still holding open behind you, a marvel to witness. It's left you inspired, no doubt. Memorial Meadows, alas, a hunt begins. Eyes and ears, my friend. We'll make for a camp, let off the horses, and we'll see what game we can bag. Hopefully that dragon hasn't taken it all for himself, eh?
I'm certain it'll be generous enough for us.
If it knows you're on your way, I'm sure. The two of you continue on into the sacred meadows on the other side of the river, into its tree coverage. Before long, come to a set-up encampment. Sturdy, fine tents that have been left here to rest for repurpose. Campfire and covered area and such. Everything you would have to need without making a camp. Bridle up, tie off your horses, and kind of settle in the dogs. You go over to a chest, a footlocker here, and as he opens it up, you see long bows, about as long as you, good like 6 feet.
Golly.
Mighty arrows to notch in them, and hunting spears and things.
Oh, takes a hunting spear, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. The two of you get loaded up, and he goes, "Come now, I'll take the lead. Creep with me.
What behind you, my lord?
May the forest not even know our gentle path. Roll stealth."
Gotcha. As he's gonna leave behind his steward shield, or sorry, leave behind his oh, I forgot the name. His primary spear, the steward's living tree. Steward's
Yeah,
living
the
spear.
living
That's it.
spear.
Yeah, no, primarily sounding spear. It's already out of that. All right, stealth. 16. Nice.
Two of you are creeping on. The hunt has begun proper. He has a bow ready. You, your spear. He's picked up on some tracks. Boar, perhaps, tells you to ready the spear.
Yep.
You stop behind a dank and wet bush covered in rain. Gently parting it, the two of you peer. There is indeed a boar up ahead, wallowing near a mud pit. Suddenly, the boar gets startled, and it's not because of you two. Waddling into the clearing where the boar was, a bear, a big grizzly bear. The boar goes running off, and you're maybe about to act, and Hammond just hold. He's gonna put his hand up to you. The bear comes to the center of the clearing and begins to thrash its paws down in the mud. Goes up on all twos and lets out this roar. But there's something wrong with your nature, with your knowledge of nature and animal handling. It's a cry of pain, of anguish, of suffering as the bear lets out its final roar before collapsing backwards.
From this distance, he's kind of looking over. Does he see any external wounds? Like any type of arrows or mats of blood or...
Roll on nature.
Okay.
Investigation or something.
16 on nature.
You see where it's landed on its back now, exposed. On the inside of one of its like thighs, essentially, where the hair has gone brittle and away, and a bite mark, a venomous wound from a snake. And then, as you're noticing this, you see a constrictor snake come out of the grass. Hold. Were we to stop its hunt? We witness another miracle now. The constrictor snake begins to wrap around the unconscious and paralyzed poisoned bear. With your knowledge, it probably poisoned this bear days ago and has been tracking it, waiting for this moment. And then slowly, the mouth of the snake begins to open and consume the bear.
Oh my goodness, that's a big freaking snake.
No, it wasn't. But it eats, and it eats, and it eats. Until the bear is gone. All within a minute sitting.
What?
You and Hammond holding and watching. The snake ripples and is like breaking apart its flesh from consuming it, but it will not stop eating the bear. And after the snake is finished eating, it immediately dies. It is ripped open, and pouring out of it are many more smaller snakes.
Oh,
Let's go. Come on. We've seen enough. Hammond quickly grabs you,
yep.
and the two of you make off. Perhaps you take the lead. Roll a survival check.
Yeah. Was that normal?
It doesn't answer you.
Uh, yeah, he's trying to focus on tracks, but he's trying to think like, what the that was so unnatural, but it looked so natural, but it wasn't. Oh, 3 16s in a row. Holy moly. It's a lucky number.
We see you continue on, and you're now tracking your way past old landmarks of the First Empire's monuments. And under your lead, at one point from a cliff top, maybe about an hour later, you can see the distant falls, the mirrored falls of the king and the dragon, two megalithic statues kind of facing each other. Sort of like that scene in Lord of the Rings when they're going down the river with those really big statues. Like they are huge, buttressed into the mountain, Mount Rushmore style. And thump, thump, yeah, you guys begin your hunting trip proper at this point. You do make out some wild pheasants and things and begin to actually have your fun. And you notice that the rain, though not stopping entirely, is gently subsiding. And at one moment, we see you maybe a couple hours into your day's hunt. Now it's afternoon. You kind of got a couple pheasants over your shoulders, smiling, looking back to Hammond. Then, like, as you're looking to him, you just kind of remember the snake thing. And you look past him longingly towards the city where the rest of the Vanguard is in contemplation of this. And as you do, we cut back to the city through the woodland that you peer as we see your adventuring party. Whoever wants to take it away, what was your guys' business today in Baldur's Watch?
There we go. It'd help if I wasn't muted. I believe me and Sana were gonna actually try to head by the the school, the one that Miss Broomhilda is in charge of, to go check their library for some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So we then see the two of you arriving outside the stately gates of the Waterford University of Arts. You are welcomed within its grounds with the papers and such you were given as honorary students of the craft. We kind of follow you guys in, wiping off your feet before crossing its marbled floors. There's a bit of a squeak still, despite your best attempts to remove the wetness of the day. Squeak, squeak, squeak. A few awkward screeching noises until we finally see you in the library. The librarian there just shh.
sorry.
As in the corner, there's a bunch of students painting a naked man and women in thinker poses, sort of interlocked with each other by arm and leg. All those students kind of look over to your squeaking shoes and then look back to their form.
You know what?
So, students, the most important thing to glean here is the context of the art. Think of what this position means to you. Is it one of balance? Or is it one of struggle? Ponder this as you commence. Now, pencils to page, brush the canvas, let us begin. And the teacher kind of like looks over to the two of you walking home.
Would just kind of give a very short, curt wave, and then go be trying to find whoever's in charge of this library.
The librarian seems quite busy as you're walking up to her. She just points to a bell on her desk as you try talking to her.
Share a look with Adlin and I tap the bell.
I'm busy.
Oh, then. Okay, fair enough. We'll just look on our own then.
Hello there. The teacher approaches you from behind with subtle stride, even for your passives, like very light-footed.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Can I help you? I was given the foyer for today's class.
Yes, sorry about that. We're just here doing a bit of outside research.
Oh, you must have been given permission by the dean, perhaps, or someone higher up. Very
Yes.
well. Try to keep to yourselves.
Yes, we'll try to be
Anything I can help you
unintrusive.
with? I'm just waiting for the students to finish up.
Um, just out of curiosity, do you know the sorting system for the library? Just make it easier
Yes.
to find what kind of stuff we're looking for. Okay. Just curious if y'all had any old texts about extra plane or things that y'all might be using for reference for your art. I know, odd request. And
No,
I believe
not at all. We have a whole section devoted on it.
no.
Painted mural on the stylizations of the heavens and hells. Come, look for yourself.
Yeah, and oh, Sana, you were looking for something else.
I think us working together on this subject would be more beneficial.
Okay. Oh, yes, but please lead on. And Sana, as we're kind of going with silent speech to you, it's just sends to you. Maybe we can find something out about your black fire or whatever the hell that was too while we're here. If there's any old tapestries or anything like that that might have indication.
That's very true. With all the everything that's happened, I sort of forgot about it.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find much on laws here, but
Fair.
might be able to find.
Yes, everything you'll find here has to do with the arts, literature, poetry, um, different inspirations, and famous artists and thinkers.
Hmm.
Well, I'm looking specifically for more of celestial inspiration.
That's the same section. Just coming upon it now, just beyond this shelf. There we are. Beyond this locked gate, I will let you in. Pulls out a key,
Thank
opens the palisade door, and within, a sparse collection of shelves lined with tomes, scroll cases, framed artwork, handmade trophies and trinkets, statuettes and busts and such. And the ceiling is of an alcove design, as are the walls, and all painted in a depiction of the 9 layers of hell, the celestial order of the planes, by some
Thank,
artist interpretation, at least.
thank you kindly. We'll try to stay quiet and out of your way.
I'll be
So
right
we can
outside,
finish class.
sitting on that chair there, and serving my
Thank you.
students.
Oh, I did want to ask one more thing, if that's all right.
Well, you passed it. Farewell.
All right.
What is it?
Well, I take out the tarot card. Let me see. It's a rendition of Sauna done just like on a tarot card of how she looks
That
now.
is masterfully done.
Uh,
I think I've seen that style before.
You have.
Yes.
Do you?
A famous painter. I'm afraid his origins are a bit of a mystery, as he signs most things anonymously. Oh, but there's no mistaking the lifelike realism in that style. Spawned a whole generation of artists.
Really?
Possibly still alive. Many people suspect it to be an elf, given the delicate hand. But who's to say? Could be a dwarf for all we know.
Does he have a moniker?
Anonymous.
Do you, just looks at this old worn card. Is there anything else you could tell me about him? Is there
Well,
maybe?
I wouldn't say it's factual or anything, but sort of a fancy of mine. Most artists have looked into the anonymous caricaturist before. There's been talk that by some traveling artists that they've seen the likes of his work, or people that at least get very close to it, up north of here.
Right. What other things does he? What other artwork does he do? Is it just cards or?
As far as I'm aware, the most famous paintings he's done were secret commissions to nobles throughout the Empire's provinces, all the way from the Miran province in the south, across Midian, to some of the newer acquisitions of the Empire.
Um.
The most famous piece, which indeed is uncannily resembles this card, is in the capital city of the entire empire, Bastion, in the south of this country.
She's like taking notes rapidly in her journal. Okay. These pieces, are they small? Does he do murals? Are they always like this?
They vary, but usually murals or large paintings for nobles. Sometimes not of their will, but they always accept. For example, the famous mural in Bastion, some few decades old, appeared overnight, they say, in one of the most heavily guarded areas. It is a depiction of a woman, striking in realism, such as that card. Likeness of flames and a great owl and some iconography of hunting. I can't do justice. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words on its own. We have crude representations of it here in a book if you'd like to see. The
Definitely.
truth does it no justice to seeing it up close and personal, such a historic site, especially one of the modern age.
If you could point me to those books, definitely be interested.
She points out those books.
And, as well as, do you know if he had any, affiliation with divination, by chance?
If he had it, I don't even know if it is a he. I like to think it's a woman.
Oh, my bad. I thought you had said he.
Oh, sure, most men will tell you that.
Well, have they been known to have any
They
ability?
must have some tricks to place a mural such as they did upon the palace walls of the capital of the empire. Likely the most guarded refuges of all civilized lands. So well over several thousand years. I would say that takes some degree of trickery.
Foresight? Right. Well, thank you. This has been very, very helpful. I'm sorry, Adlin, I've taken...
Oh no, it's fine.
Would you mind if I look through these books, and wrapped back around to helping you?
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. No, excuse me. Yeah, go ahead. Give me an idea what you're looking for too, and if I see anything, I'll let you know.
Apparently just this anonymous, elven painter, artist.
Potentially Elven.
Potentially Helven.
All right, well.
Well, I don't know. I think some of the finest artists I've personally met are actually halflings. She looks to you, Madeline.
Yeah, there's all types. But that could be said about anybody.
I've been planning a trip to the Westwold for a long time.
Well, we should probably go ahead and get started. That way we're just not holding you up on your class anymore. Thank you.
Yes.
I know when I'm being dismissed. Very well. Call upon me if I'm needed.
All right.
All right, you
She-
study them books. Roll
Yeah,
investigation with Adlin's help.
I did want to like turn to Adlin and talk about it a bit more because the Merle with
Yep.
the flaming woman. I turned to Adlin, showing him the card and say, "This was. They found this with me, in that forest. It's always had this depiction of me.
Mm-hmm.
Someone knew what I was going to look like. I've never had a lead, but now." And that mural in Bastion, if it is a flaming woman, it might tie in with what exactly Agni may be related to. I think this is something we should definitely look into.
Yeah, we'll find that depiction first. Go ahead, get a few notes on it, and go from there.
All right, yeah. Investigation with advantage.
Yep.
Do it. 23.
23.
Okay, listen. Athena. That is who people believe this mural to be of. She is bound in radiant, flaming chains. And she has a companion, an owl, a seeker. She is a heathen god or deity from the discordant era of when humans revered lesser deities than the true creators. Some people speculate she is the half-sister of Ares, god of war, of the same pantheons of the discordant era. But not much is known of this deity other than she is a heathen god. And in truth, this depiction of her is maybe one of the only ones in the world, other than the similar likeness on your card. She's a striking woman, clearly powerful and celestial in this depiction, winged, but bound in chains. Some kind of hellscape, but an unfettered owl at her back. I'm not sure what this means, but that is what you learn. That is what some people believe. And it is also known up at 23 that anyone who attempts to wield the power of this deity is cursed. Her clerics do not receive the benefits of her power. Some people don't even think she's real. It's a very debatable thing. It's from a long time ago.
What did you say her name was again?
In common to the true sons of Madonia, Athena.
Okay,
Athen.
And her brother Otis? Or half sister?
Eris.
Eris?
Eris. Yes, Ares.
Oh.
As in Alikos.
Yep.
Hello.
And his connection to Ares. Believed to be sister, half sister, some relation to that other god from a different era that is no longer condoned to worship. The outcome of is unknown. Such things are dealt with on planes beyond this, if they are indeed truth. Some people speculate perhaps Eris was just a great man who lived and people revered him as a god. Who's to say? You weren't around in those times. But you do know magic and gods exist. People draw power from places. And you faced whores. I'm not sure what that has to do with you, but it is undeniably similar to the card, the art style.
Okay.
She's got a shield, a spear, a sword, all of which are dinged or broken. Her wings kind of look crippled, and her armor bent up and broken. And the chains are the most imposing image of the mural.
Well,
Admiral, insight.
I'm thinking of picking something up.
Who?
You remember long ago meeting a man who was not a man at all. In fact, he was undead. He was not like any undead you had met before. And he had spoke of things that, in a way, you start thinking about that as she's looking into this. That guy's cause, he was looking for a place of chains,
Mm-hmm.
a way in and out of carcerai, for some power that he served that had vindictively denied him the afterlife because he usurped what his powers were meant for in his living life. You had taken the oculary from him.
Yep, and thinking on that, Adel, go ahead and start flipping back in his journal, because if I remember right, I had drawn out the ley line intersections we had found using the oculary, what he'd been looking for.
And you notice something else that Sana misses in the depiction, even with her 23 investigation. A very hidden detail. That the owl, the separated seeker of Athena, is carrying something. It's kind of hidden in the background of this, but it's carrying like a shooting star or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not just the seeker, but it's also a harbinger of something, or a carrier of some hope, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there's also those who speculate Athena's relationship with Eris. This is back to the investigation for Sana. Believe that without Athena, Eris lacked wisdom, and such was his downfall. But that's all heretical beliefs of ancient barbarians and savages, documented here by third-hand account scribes.
Out of curiosity, I do take the oculary and look at my card just to see if it does anything.
Roll a perception with advantage.
Oh shit. Alright. 16. Ooh. Rolled an 8.
There is the same hidden star, maybe used by a different ink or something. It's almost holographic. Within the depiction of the card, but the star is within the individual depicted on the card. It's the same star being carried by the owl that Adlin points out to you. Only now visible to you through this oculary.
Does it all mean?
And within the light of that star, the rounded appearance of an open door. Like an open palace door, white on white, hard to tell through the holographic effect, but keeping up.
Yeah, where on the Oh cool. Where on the card does it have the star? You said there's a door and it's
There's a star in the person and a door in the star.
okay, yeah. The person, oh my god.
It's weird because it's wherever you think your center of key is. I'll let you put the flavor on that. Maybe it's your third eye. Maybe it's in the center of your chest. That's up to you. But you find yourself kind of clutching at that same place with your offhand, coming to these quivering insights between you and Adeline. And the time you spend here, like 2 hours easily rushed by, and the two of you don't notice. You just get so enveloped in this first bit of research.
Hey, you good?
Just staring at the page, mouth open a bit.
Hello. Psst.
Yeah, just thinking.
All right, well, share your thoughts, and two of us can think on it.
Well, I'm just wondering, why did I have this? I had no other belongings. I was found on a rock. You saw where I was found.
Mm-hmm.
Was this artist involved? Did they know me? Did my parents have this made? Do I have?
Would you like my long guess just based off what we found?
Please.
Here's my long and short of it. You ended up there, your folks found you, the painter never actually seen you in person.
How did this get to me?
How did this get to you? Might have came with you.
But why, and what is my connection to this goddess and this star? What is it? Is it?
You want... If I had to take a guess, I'm willing to bet you're some other kind of harbinger. Funny enough, like, that makes you the third one. And Adeline is, like, kind of, like, close to mental breakdown laugh at that. Just the fucking third one. For a different god.
And Agni and Alikos are the other two?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, long story short, I'll have to explain it to you somewhere where we're not in a public library.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah. Honestly, Sana, from just a big general guess, I think you're a bird. Not a
What?
bird, but you're tied. I think you're tied to that owl. Whether that means you are the owl, or whether you're just a harbinger of the owl that's tied to the god, I don't know.
Oh, all right. And she runs her hands through like the side of her hair. All right.
I'll go ahead and tell you now that it's probably only going to get weirder.
As expected.
Mm-hmm.
But all right. I'm gonna need more time to think on this and do more research. I think it's time we move on to the more.
Okay. Just be sure you write down where that other mural is, and maybe at some point, if we ever come by close, we go take a look.
Yeah, she shows you the page of her notebook. It's just scribbled with like a rendition of what she thinks the art looks like, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Some of this painter's pictures, like gifs, it like imposed onto like nobles in distant lands. Some of them are pretty scary, actually. But for whatever reason, no one denies this art when they're given it. They do not wash it away or consider it graffiti. And we see the two of you now glossing past this, continuing now into other facets of your research, hitting another stack of books in a separate section. But the camera loses sight of you as you walk out of the room, doesn't train on you. It just ends up as you leave, panning towards the rainy windows once again. Over the city streets we go, and you can see people gathered here and there going about their business, and perhaps in some places more than others, folk have clustered to the sights and sounds to be had, even in the rain of the day. But the day has progressed on, and elsewhere beyond, across the river in the Marmorial Meadow, Alikos and Hammond and their beasts have made good. They've witnessed miracles. They've bagged a tidy amount of game and are in the process of making their way back. Alikos, just roll me in athletics. One last check for you to cap things out for you here.
All right. 12.
Okay. It's definitely a taxing day because the weather does not subside. But nonetheless, you proved productive, and you and Hammond are likely both in high spirits. I'm just gonna roll his athletics. 29.
My man. Freaking Jack.
He's picking up some of the weight. The two of you have made your way back to the camp, and you've dropped off all your pheasants and the boars you bagged and such, and you'll get to plucking those later. He goes, let's fetch our horses. I want to go for one more ride before the sun lets up.
Any particular path in mind?
Yes, there's an old trail that goes past what they claim to be the dragon's lair. From there, you get a much finer view of the statue of the Mirror'd Fall. We won't have time to see it tomorrow.
Well, that's a shame then. Wouldn't mind taking a peek inside that cave where a dragon lived.
On the way back, the legs are not yet turned to jelly.
Oh, I'm fine, just kind of digested like the muck that's kind of on his boots, kind of. You always.
The two of you fetch your horses as you're talking, and the dogs are kind of coming along as well.
Yes, he's up. Hops on the horse, and gestures for just for the Lord to go first.
The two of you continue on. Yes?
Suppose not all
What
of
was
us
that?
are used to trudging around and 70 pounds of steel and armaments.
You just wait till we move west. When we come to the lookout, we'll speak upon this more.
Aye.
What I said in front of the public and the things leading up to it, there will be repercussions. Of that, I'm sure. Come on, it's not much further.
Right behind you. Come on, Helen. Keep up, girl.
You continue along and eventually come to a path guiding you along. It slithers away forward for you as it winds. Maybe about another minute or so. It's beyond this clearing, in the thick of those trees. Come on. He continues to lead you on his pale steed. You follow on yours behind with your lackadaisical dog and the other in front of him, just kind of running back and forth in excitement of the hunt. You get to the center of the clearing when the dogs start barking. It's actually your dog that's barking first and
nice.
loudest. Who's in the back? Huh? Be ready. The two of you turn around and marching up, cavaliers on in heavily clad armaments and heraldry of the realm of the province of Luxembourg, the hold come riding up. At the lead, a captain. One who apparently is familiar enough to Hammond. Captain Viago. I thought this was a royal hunt. To what do we owe the pleasure? Lord Hammond, for disturbing of the peace, and for outright insurrection against the Duke, you are to come with us willingly. I am sorry. He looks to you, Alikos.
Kind of instinctively starts moving forward to defend his lord.
No. Stop.
Kind of obeys as he kind of looks back in confusion. My lord?
They know with who they trample. Captain Viago, take it. I will be given my rights. But of course, my liege, I will see you given fair treatment. In truth, you must understand my trepidations of all this. He continues to ride up, telling his men to stay back. The men just kind of nodding, grunting. Begins to ride past you, Alikos.
Yep.
For my own protection, my lord, we must bind you. Very well.
Kind of
Begins to ride up.
look at the Lord Hammond, awaiting his orders. Kind of like
Dog starts like it's got rabies or something. His dog Meg, and then he clicks at it, and it goes to the side and starts whimpering. Actually, like it's scared. Very sudden change of emotion on that beast. As he comes up, and side by side on the mount, Hammond says to Alikos, "It's all right."
Wait. My lord, I can't let you go alone.
He puts his hands behind him to be manacled. And as the manacles come out, you see there are arcane inscriptions and such on them. Knowing that Lord Hammond's a powerful guy, they've obviously taken some measures here. And ching, ching, as they cinch up, it's almost as if the metal melds apart and then back together again as it locks up on him and the glyphs light up. Well then, Captain Viago, I suppose you'd be fair enough to let my fellow lord here, my vassal, gather our game. Yes, of course. And once again, I'm... As you look, you see blood splatter from Captain Viago's neck.
What the
As
hell?
he takes a bolt to the back of the neck, and blood sprays. As emerging from the bushes, underworld assassins and thugs of the Black Hand and Market,
Oh
and the
God!
guards. One of them kind of rides up, now taking the lead, and says, "Captain Viago, Lord Hammond, there's been a change of plans. You shouldn't have went against the Duke. Now you die." Shing, shing, shing.
My lord.
All this steel gets pulled out.
Holy.
Now's the time to defend me, my friend. And with that, we're going to go ahead and cut to a break. We'll come back after an intermission.